Hey there, it's Trisha, and I wanted to go over a couple setups from Monday the 30th and Tuesday the 1st. We use just a handful of setups for conservative entry for high probability um, success in the trades that we do take. And if you'd like to get more information on the setups that we use, you can go to www.easyemintrade.com. Next webinar will be in January. I've been getting emails from people. I'll get that posted sometime in December, but with the holidays, there's just no point in really doing anything now because everyone's so busy. So we'll pick up in January, and we'll do another evening webinar toward the end of the month in January, middle end of the month. But I'll keep you posted. So this is Monday, and we had a setup actually occurring here. If you look over to my left on my longer tick chart, you can see whereabouts that the setup is actually occurring. It's on the start of this bar here. The conservative way to take this would be when the trend actually changed, which would be basically below the 50% retracement. So anybody who wanted to take this, it absolutely was a setup, but you were in an uptrend at that time, you can see. But it did work out. So if somebody entered, they would have entered in under this bar here, would have got filled here, knowing that 1091.25 is likely an area where they would pause or bounce. Also, knowing that you're already in the trade, you could, then obviously just take some off the table at 1091.25 and then just leave some out there, some of your contracts out there in anticipation of getting to the next target, which would be 1089.25 based on the close from Friday. Down here, this is 1088. This is a line that I drew. This has been a really strong area of support and resistance for quite a while. So we've been paying pretty close attention to it every time we get around that area. So you could have taken it here. Otherwise, you could have taken it here when you closed under the 50% retracement. So this is actually where I took it. And knowing that I have the close from the previous day right below me, that was my area for my first target. If you move your stop to your entry after you got your first target, you got stopped out, which is what happened to me. But if you didn't move your stop and kept it at 2 points or even a point, obviously you were able to recapture this move here. So up to you how you manage that trade. This actually occurred right around lunchtime. So wasn't here for that, but with that said, this 1088 area has really been a difficult area very often to get through. It looks like it's going to get through, and then then it pops right back up above it. So if somebody were aggressive in that area, they could have gotten in right under this bar here. If somebody wanted to wait and make sure that it really was truly going to go, because oftentimes it'll come down, tease you a little bit, and then pop right back up in that 1088 area. So if somebody were aggressive and wanted to give that a shot, they would know that the next area below them was 1084, let's say 1085, based on the pivot point. Also 1085, a strong area of support based on our daily chart as well. So I wasn't here for this trade, but if I was, I wouldn't have taken it, me personally, just because of the 1088 area. I would have wanted proof that it was going to be able to stay below that area. So if it had stayed sideways for a little while and then came back outside the channel, then I would be willing. When you get the pullback here to the channel, there's really not a lot of room below you to 1085. So again, aggressive, you could have taken it. Conservative, you might have wanted to wait. Either way would have worked. The rest of the day you would have just done some range trades. That would have been about all that you could have done the rest of the day. Now, I say range trades the rest of the day, but I'll point this out for those of you that would be willing to take this. You do get a close outside the channel here. At the moment, your indicator is not above 20, so you wouldn't be interested here yet. Here you do get closed outside the channel, and you are above the 50% retracement, but the issue that I had with that was that we were pretty far from the channel at that point. So when we wind up with a big bar and being pretty far away from the channel, then usually what I'll do is I'll wait for it to pull back. especially around this 50% retracement, because it could easily have come right back under that 50% retracement. So again, aggressive and not caring about the distance created between your price and the channel. You could have taken that. Otherwise, you could have waited for a pullback. You never really had an opportunity to take it until after 330, which really would have been above this bar here at 331. Would have worked out for about a point or so if you did take it. But you can always take the pullback. So keep that in mind when you see a lot of space here created. You might want to just just exercise a little caution. Not saying that you can't take it. Obviously, it worked out in this case. Let's see, what would you have wound up with here? 75. So you would have wound up with like a point, maybe a little more, point and a half. So again, as I always say, it's definitely up to your risk tolerance what you can. And this is Tuesday, December 1st. This is a trade that we took at 1020. Was willing to enter in under these bars here. We had to move down. There's nothing we could really take here. We had a very strong area of support below us. We know that. That's what this line here represents. So not a lot of room under these bars here to that 1102 area. This was around the news items coming out at 10 o'clock, so no real way to jump on board there. This was the open, pretty much flat until the items came out at 10 o'clock. So we did get outside the channel. Nothing we really would want to take here because, well, first of all, this is a huge bar, and this is the likelihood of being stopped out when you get in as a setup bar being such a huge bar is a higher probability that you will get stopped out. So anyway, nothing that you can really do here yet. And then when you get back inside the channel, then back outside the channel here, you're very close to this support area. So what we opted to do was when we got a pullback to the middle line, we entered in under the lows of these bars here, which was here, knowing that our target was going to be this 1102 area. So we weren't looking for a lot. We knew what we actually could get out of it. The entry actually was 1103.75. So that was taking this on a pullback from this move down. Indicator still above 20. The indicator still in line for a short here. So we're good to go. The rest of the day was pretty sideways. You could have probably taken a couple range trades, but what we did was we took a trade here at 120. So setting up here, get closed outside the channel, indicator rising above 20. So put an order in above the bar here. Doesn't get filled, but it's still a valid setup because we're still closed outside the channel. So left the order there and got filled on this bar here. So get filled on this bar here at let's see, what was it, 1090.50, knowing that you have an area of resistance above you based on the daily chart. This was 1111.25, just above our head, so we knew getting in here at 1109.75 that we had to 1111.25. So room for profit there. You did break through that slightly, and depending on how you managed it, you wouldn't have hit your second target of +2, but you might have gotten a point and a half out of it. I actually got my first target hit and then moved my stop to my entry of 1109.75, which this bar here came right down to and traded right to my entry 1109.75. So I was stopped out on my remaining third of my contracts. But yeah, that's just the way it is sometimes. But like I said, you might have been able to get a point and a half out of it. You wouldn't have gotten a full 2 points. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. And if you want to check out a little more information on the setups, go to www.easyminitrade.com.